Melanie Traylor. Today we're going to talk about my pressing station. So this has been a really long time coming, but I was just trying to get everything in exactly the way that I want it to be without any issues, and there has been some issues. So just to I've just been really struggling with getting the pressing station to be the most effective that it could be. And I kept running into these tiny things. But now I finally got it where I think it's at the best it's ever been. So I'm going to show you that today. And mainly I want to show you the wool mats because I love them so much. I mean, I've been using them for about 3 or 4 years and I just love the wool mats. But they did damage my past table. So that's kind of, I didn't ever want to show you the station because of the damaged table, and I didn't know how to fix it. Well, now I do. Now I know how to fix it. So I'm going to show you how to take care of your table where it never gets damaged. And then I'm going to show you the iron that I've been using for 10 months now. I've been putting this off. But I was trying to make the iron, I love the iron. Okay, the iron is great. But I just couldn't find the setup for it to be for me to be completely happy with it, right? There was always just, you're going to see that in this video, but there was just always something just not right with the setup. So I finally got the setup the way it is now. It's been this way for maybe a month and a half to 2 months. It's working out great. Finally. And I wanted to share that in case, you're dealing with the same thing. So let's take a look at this pressing station. Here is a view of my pressing mat, and my pressing station, I guess you would call it. This table came from Arrow Sewing. It's called a cutting table. It's the Dingo cutting table. And I actually have a video about the cutting table. But really all I wanted to talk to you about today was the pressing part, and I want to talk to you about my iron. And I talked a little bit about this on Instagram a week or so ago. And so I use the wool mats, and when you're buying wool mats, the thing you want to look for is the thickness right in here, because if it's not, I think this is a half inch or a whole inch, maybe something like that. I have a really thin one and it's nowhere near as good as these. But the reason that I like wool mats so much is because wool can get really, really hot, and it basically presses your blocks or your units or whatever you're pressing on both sides. Because once this heats up, it's like a double press for your block. And that's how this paired with the starch is how I get my blocks so flat and crisp. I get asked about that a lot. But anyway, these are 2 of the, I think they're 17-inch mats, and I have 2 of them butted up against each other end to end to make this fit the full length of my cutting table. Before I had the wool mats, I've been using the wool mats for probably 2 to 3 years. Before I had them, I had a basic ironing board, and maybe I had a cheap ironing board, I don't know, but that thing constantly fell over. Just the slightest bump would just knock the whole thing over, and then my iron would fall, and then it would always leak. So I it really was an upgrade for me when I ditched the ironing board and got with the wool mats. But let's say this, wool mats on a surface will damage your table. And I learned that the hard way. The table that I had before this one, this is a brand new table. I've only had it about maybe a month or 2. The one I had in here before, and you might remember it was natural blonde wood, and Wade actually had built it for me. And as soon as he built it, I bought the wool mats and, made myself an ironing station there. But the wool mats damaged they get so hot that they damage the table, and it stained that wood yellow. So this wood here is that laminate wood, so it wouldn't even hold up as well as the table that he built from regular wood, because this probably would make this peel off and stuff like that. So for that reason, it's important to put something up under your wool mats to protect your table. And I'll show you what I got under mine. So I saw this idea, and I think I saw it on Facebook. I could be wrong about where I saw it, but I bought this vinyl tablecloth. So it's that vinyl, you know, slick, smooth, easy to wipe off. And on the opposite side, it has flannel. And this is all you need to protect your tables. And like I said, I've had this table for about a month or two. I press every day and there's no damage to it. And that other table, it was damaged immediately. Like it was just boom, damaged. So I'm glad I found this idea. This is just like, I was so happy that it actually worked. It's just something about the vinyl and the flannel protects the table. And I think I paid like $3 or $4 for this vinyl tablecloth, and I just cut it to fit. So it's not, you know, super great looking, but I've tried to make it as neat as possible. Up under this, I have a drawer liner, which I'm actually probably going to remove because I don't feel like it's, I put it there to help make my mats stop bumping and moving, you know, every time I accidentally bump up against them. I thought this might help, but it really doesn't. I've tried it right here, and I've tried it on top of here, and no matter where I put it, I don't like the liner. So I probably will get rid of that. All right, so that is where I press at. I'm actually found a wool mat that is the length of my whole table, where I can not need 2 of these. I've got this one pretty stained up, and the other side of this one, I had a bad iron situation, and I don't want to show it to you because it's so stained up really, really bad. So I'm kind of wanting a new pressing mat anyway. Like I said, these are about 3 or 4 years old, and I found one that fits the length of the table. So I'm looking to get that pretty soon. Let's talk about my iron. All right, let me get down here with it. All right, so I have the Maven iron by Reliable, and the reason I went with this iron, and this is probably the best iron I've ever had, and the iron that I've definitely paid the most money for. I've been through a series of irons, and I liked almost every single iron, but the problem I've had with them is that they always end up leaking, and I am a mega steam user, so it has been just like a train wreck of irons. But I found this iron, and the reason I went with it is because the water doesn't go in the iron, even though look at all that steam that comes out. I mean, this is so great. The water actually goes in the base. So the iron is connected to this base. And when I first got it, I know it doesn't look super great over here on this milk crate. When I first got it, I had it sitting right up here at the end of my table on the pressing mats. But I ran into obstacles with it there, because when you're sewing rows together or you're sewing big pieces of the quilt, it was just in the way. So I thought, you know what, I think it would be best on the floor. So I went into the garage and I pulled out this milk crate, and I just kind of stuck the whole thing in this little hidey hole of my cutting table. So it's working out great right there. I mean, I do have to bend down when I'm pressing, you know, to get the iron and put the iron away. But I think it's probably good for my legs to be getting up and down a lot. So I really, really, really like this iron. I will link to it in the notes, but definitely the best iron I've had. I've had it since, what is this? Today it is October. So I've had the iron for 10 months, and there's been nothing, no leaks, no nothing. It's just been a wonderful, wonderful iron. It does have an automatic shutoff, so I'm constantly having to turn it back on. So that's one tiny thing that I would say, but you know, that's probably good too, because that's a safety feature. So anyway, that's my pressing station.